excited to welcome you back to another episode of our podcast, the Fantactics Podcast Show. When you see me in the studio, you always see me with Sabubu Elkun, the man I like to call the octopus of Nigeria. Yes, if you have been watching the show, you know Sabubu has been giving joy to all our viewers and all our fans. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. It has been an amazing week so far with a plethora of games. There were some, twists and turns along the line, but as expected, the marathon is, taking shape, and the men are separating themselves from the boys, or some men have refused to separate themselves. But of course, that's what football is all about. We are happy to take you on a journey once again to go review all the games that have been played and to, discuss the talking points. Sabubu, I know you have a lot of things to say. You have a lot of reactions towards what has gone down. But let's hear your thoughts. How was the weekend so far? As a fan and as, an analyst, how was it for you?
Well, the weekend came in fast and it went. The top matches started with the lunchtime kickoff at the London Stadium between West Ham and Chelsea.
Yes.
Chelsea came out smoking. And as I said earlier, in our previous shows, they can create chances. And Nicholas Jackson impressed everybody by taking 2 of his chances. By halftime, the game was as good as gone.
It was.
Then Liverpool came back from Milan and, they got into their gear and they took out Bournemouth with 1 or 2 goalkeeping errors by a former Chelsea man.
I don't know why you have to associate Chelsea with the disaster class, but no problem. Carry on.
He's still a Chelsea player. Then we saw what happened at Fulham versus Newcastle.
Of course.
Fulham is a team that we have to watch out for this season because they bought well and the coach has been there for about 2 seasons. So the kind of the style of football he wants, they are playing it.
Actually.
Then we had the game at Etihad that happened yesterday. We had the games at the Milan derby. We saw what happened.
Of course.
We saw the Juventus versus Napoli game. We saw the games in Spain where Hans Flick is really flicking everybody upside down in Spain. And we saw what happened in the Madrid versus another Barcelona team again.
Yes.
The weekend was fantastic, and we're going to give you breakdown of how the matches went.
Okay, so let's start from the Premiership, right?
Yep.
So we'll start from the Premiership. Let's start with West Ham Chelsea. Just quickly, what excited you the most about that game?
Well, what excited me was Chelsea came out, they had the business to do, and they did it. Got their goals, and they didn't stress themselves. Because by the time the second goal went in, I was waiting for a reaction from West Ham in the second half. But immediately the second half started and the third goal by Palmer entered, I knew the game was
as good as gone.
Was good as gone. And the only thing West Ham had to do was damage control, or else they would have considered up to like 6-7 in that match.
Okay, that's awesome. Let's also look at let's say Fulham. You were already pointing out that they're a team to watch out for.
Yes.
Could you quickly just tell our viewers why you think we should keep an eye out for Fulham?
They have a young squad.
Okay.
Of good English players. They have a coach that has been there for about 2 seasons. To show you how loyal the guy is to Fulham, even when the Saudis came last season for him, he declined them.
All right.
And they have a style of play. Remember, their stadiums are one of the smallest stadiums in the Premiership by pitch size. So they are used to that stadium. So they just need 3 or 4 touches before they can get you.
They can get you.
So if a team like Fulham, if you need to play them out, which the big teams will show us, is they will starve them of the ball. That's when we need to know how good they are. Because a good team is a team without the ball.
Yeah.
That is where you can rank teams like the cities of this world.
So talking about a good team without the ball, you referenced the goalkeeping errors by Arrizabalaga for Bournemouth in Bournemouth's goal against Liverpool.
Yes.
Let me just we know how fantastic they are, but Luis Diaz, he has started the season on fire. Do you think this is a player that can really step up and take the mantle of the goal scoring responsibility for Liverpool? And do you think Liverpool will now be looking at moving Salah on to the Saudi Pro League or something?
Well, Salah has earned. He has earned when he will leave Liverpool.
The right to decide.
The right to decide when I want to leave Liverpool. He can't be forced out.
Of course not.
Put that at the back of your mind. Then as for Diaz, he just needs to be more clinical, because remember, he has the speed, he has the skill set. If he's very clinical like a Salah, then we know that most defenders are in trouble in the Premiership. Remember, he functions well when Liverpool are on the break.
Yes, of course.
But if it's a normal match situation where he has to come at you, you might not get the best from him. But Liverpool in transition with him, forget
very deadly. Indeed, very deadly. Tottenham got a 3-1 win over Brentford.
It was long overdue.
I
saw it coming.
Yeah, okay. Aston Villa also got a win over Wolves. Leicester drew with Everton, and then let's go to the match that summarized Saturday's fixtures: Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. I would say redemption for Andre Onana, because he has come in leaps and bounds since he debuted, and this season he has really been the last, how will I put it, a brick wall for Manchester United in goal. But what do you think United need to do to really get themselves?
You remember that the goalkeeper for Crystal Palace is a former United.
An export from United's
and
academy.
He wanted to prove a point to
them.
Ten Hag, which he did.
Fantastic
saves.
Well, yes.
He practically kept Crystal Palace in the game. But Man U were playing very dangerously in that match, because Crystal Palace would have scored in breaks when they had their chances, counter-attacks and all. United need to be more clinical. I said it. If they have a fit and firing Rashford, United can look up to the table easily.
Okay. Do you think United need to get Højlund in the game, or do you think they need to get Rashford in? Because I think they need a penalty box presence, and Rashford doesn't give that.
They need the both of them firing. They have a squad. Let's not act as if United they have a very big squad.
Very good squad.
They have a good squad and a big squad. A man that Rashford did not start. What are you talking about?
Yeah. They just needed that killer instinct. So
I don't know what has gone into Rashford's head. Maybe the nightlife that he had last season. But if he can be fit and he keeps firing, then we know that United will be a very good team this season.
Yeah. Another player I think was exciting to watch was the new defensive signing, Matthijs de Ligt. He was elite. I think United have been begging for a defender of that caliber.
I would judge de Ligt when United starts to play the top 6 teams.
Okay.
And I will tell you how good he is if he has
been able to keep out 1, 2, 3 top strikers.
Apart from that, if he has bedded well into the Premiership.
Okay. I think he has already. His performances has already shown that he's adapting. But you have to remember, these are some of the teams that United struggled against last season.
That. But that is struggling. The top tier teams will come in. Okay. United has not played City. They've not played Villa. They've not played Arsenal. They've not played Chelsea. They've not played Spurs. On this weekend, really decide how good.
So we should wait.
Yes.
Okay. The jury should be out until
from this weekend.
Our next episode.
Yes.
All right. So wonderful. We now go to Sunday, where Brighton drew 2-2 with Forest.
The referee's inconsistency in the Premiership is beginning to annoy everybody.
It's maddening, actually.
You understand? Some of the red cards they dish out doesn't make sense to me. That match was end-to-end. Fantastic. I enjoyed the match. That was like, okay, yes, this is the intro against the next match. Okay. And, because when you give a red card in the match, that is a very exciting match.
You kind of take the steam out of it.
The handbrakes are already coming into the game.
Yeah, you take the steam out of it.
Everybody's being careful.
Cautious.
Okay, Welbeck scored his first ever free kick in the Premiership. That was landmark for him.
Yes.
Fantastic game. Nottingham Forest is becoming a very funny team now. And any team that does not prepare well for them
yes,
should be ready for action. I could simply tell you that if they had finished that match with 11 players, they would have beaten Brighton the way they were
It
playing.
was very possible.
You understand what I'm saying? Imagine referee sending 2 coaches off.
So yes, that was crazy, and it seemed that was a prelude for what was to come in the next game. Why I'm saying a prelude, because
it's the same pattern.
The word you used was the inconsistency of refereeing. I made a remark during our last episode about some specific referees not officiating some specific fixtures, because it seems they have a tendency to either send the game to bats or to appear biased. Let me not say be biased, but they appear biased. So that leads us to the creme de la creme of the fixtures for the weekend, which was the champions hosting the Gunners at the Etihad Stadium. So that was a beautiful game, exciting game. Everybody flew out of the blocks in the first half. City
came out of the blocks and intimidated Arsenal in the first 15 minutes.
Yes.
And they got their goal.
And Arsenal responded in kind.
Arsenal, I just realized they didn't panic. They just still came in and started playing the way they were playing. Yeah. And they said the equalizer.
Yeah.
There was an infringement. The referee called the captain.
Yes.
But I feel the captain didn't come back as fast as possible to come and take his position.
So
because the referee was done with him.
I was actually getting there, because now the bone of contention, and which is something I think we need to discuss on the show, is the fact that both teams were not satisfied with the officiating. It's very rare that with a team benefiting from this and another team benefiting from a red card, one benefiting, both teams are still not satisfied with the officiating. That's kind of rare in a fixture. It's supposed to favor one side, but it seems both teams were not satisfied with the level of officiating. Now, it was a beautiful game. Let's not take anything away from the performance. Colossal from the defenders, from the whole Arsenal team, especially after they went a man down. Of course, Haaland also exercised some of his demons against, Gabriel and Saliba. Now, about this officiating thing, we have VAR, right? VAR is supposed to reduce the on-field errors of referees and to help, minimize some of these contentious decisions. Do you think VAR is doing enough in that regard? Well, because these are stuffs that could have been looked at, and
there are some decisions the referee takes and the VAR won't call him back, and there are some that referee would not take. VAR will call him and say, "Can you check that tackle?"
Yeah.
Because there are some tackles that will happen. Referee gives a yellow card and VAR calls back and say, "Can you check this? I think it's more of a career-ending tackle," and the referee goes and say, "No more yellow card. It's a red card."
Yeah.
Arsenal's 2 red cards this season have come from, stupidity of the players.
Okay.
I'm being honest with you.
So just for the record, you agree with the referee's decision to give a second yellow card to Trossard?
See, let me tell you why I don't agree with it. The pace at which the match was going.
Okay.
He should have just simply given him a warning after he has given the first yellow card. Because what Trossard did, Doku did it in that same match and he wasn't cautioned for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think one would say, if your teammate had earlier been given his marching orders in the season for a similar offense, at least the team should be on guard.
Emotions fly around during matches.
Of course.
And some people don't even think straight when they are playing.
No, but that's the difference between,
that's the truth. Because, when these players play, we sit down and, why shouldn't you take the... But you don't know what is going through that player's mind at that point in time. And his emotional disposition at that point in time and his mental stability as the match goes on. There are some tackles that some players are going into, and when they go in, they want to try and withdraw, but
they have already committed.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way it happens. Like, look at the injury to Rodri in that match.
Yes.
It was off
ball
incident that VAR didn't think they should review.
No, of course.
You understand what I'm talking about? But it just happened that the player ran into him and,
But Sabubu, that's another thing I'm going to bring up. But we were talking about Trossard's red card. Don't worry, we'll get there. We're talking about Trossard's red card. Do you think he let his teammates down?
No.
He didn't?
No.
So the bulk of the blame, you are laying it at the doorstep of the referee.
You shouldn't have given him a second yellow card. To be honest, let's forget affiliations, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking from a neutral point.
Okay.
You shouldn't have given him a second yellow card.
Okay.
He didn't really warrant it at that point in time, and the way the match was going.
Okay. So what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So let's talk about Kyle Walker's so-called withdrawal from his position. So we're saying that he was supposed to get back in place before the set piece was taken, which resulted in Calafiori's goal. Do you think there's a valid argument there?
There's no valid argument there. I'll tell you why. The new rule in the Premiership is players should not come close to the referee. If there's any issues, the captains are supposed to come over.
Walker is the captain.
Yes,
and he was called.
He was called. Referee gave him his information and continued the game almost immediately.
So now we are talking about, let's imagine he's a goalkeeper and the referee called the goalkeeper. Will he continue the game?
We fail to realize that goalkeepers are given enough protection no matter what.
So that's what we are saying.
He's an outfield player. So
in defense.
See, let's forget about defense, midfield, or attack.
Okay.
Referee talking to him does not change any reaction or the play itself.
Well,
because you know why? Because referee had already blown for the game to continue almost immediately. Because if referee did not blow, they will not continue that move that got to the goal.
Anyways, football is a game of fine margins, and by fine margins, the tactical positioning, the management of space, marking, pressing, passing lanes, and all that. So that's something for another day. But I want to ask you a cynical question. Did Arsenal intentionally condition Rodri to be taken out of that match? Because the first few minutes he received a couple of crunching challenges from Arsenal players.
The good thing is that I stay in Lagos, Nigeria. I don't stay in
okay, you stay in London, Colney.
I don't stay in London, Colney.
So you don't know what transpired.
And I have never been to Arsenal's training ground before, so I can
this is what this is the kind of answer you get when somebody wants to evade it. Guilty people. These are the answer questions.
Because first of all, there were a lot of dark arts in that match.
Of course, that's why it's because of the way the match played out.
From both teams.
No, but Arsenal especially.
I'll tell you something about football. It happens all the time. You win a match or you have an edge, you go to social media and you make a post. And you're happy about it, right?
Yeah.
Remember I made a post that Arsenal came to play for a draw last season, one thing, and that was it. You think it didn't get to them? Remember when Arsenal lost to Brentford years ago, when Brentford were just promoted to the Premiership and Evan and Tony made a statement. Before the next match, it was part of the analysis.
Yes.
They wrote the tweet and say, remember what this guy said.
And in fact, Ateta used it to motivate his team.
So I'm very sure they must have used this. Say this one. The next person they're going to aim now is Bernardo Silva.
Oh, Haaland. Okay. So we have heard it, and that was how we went down. But I think that was a statement performance from Arsenal. A man down for over 45 minutes, and they still pressed the neck of the champions to a point where the champions were begging, draw us, please allow us to. No, it's not draw us, allow us to draw you. So that was an amazing performance, one that Arsenal fans should be proud of and the players should be proud of. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to be diving into some select fixtures for the midweek and then the fixtures for the weekend. Don't go anywhere. This is still the number one. They say I should not say number one, but we are number one. Yeah, number one podcast on football and the fans matters. Don't go anywhere. Fan Tactics.
Welcome back. This week we have before we used to call them the Thursday night boys, but now they've been elevated to play Wednesday night football. That's you have Europa.
Just the Europa.
We have the Europa. Then we have some selected fixtures from the Conference League because of one of our big teams that will be playing in Europe. Then we have the weekend matches. For our great investors around the world.
Yes.
Last week was fantastic.
Oh, Sabubu the octopus.
This week will be flawless.
Oh, victory. Give us victory.
So, Renz.
Yeah.
What matches do we have this week?
Okay,
That's from today till Friday. Then we'll talk about the weekend matches.
So let me just hit you with the Europa League fixtures
Okay.
from Wednesday.
Okay.
So they are Carabao Cup games, but let's just go Europa. Man United versus Twente at Old Trafford.
Well, Man United want to stretch their legs again, so I give them a straight win for this match.
Okay, Galatasaray versus PAOK Thessaloniki.
Well, you saw what they did to Fenerbahce at home.
Yeah.
The Greek sides are in trouble.
Mm.
They'll be trashed.
So,
is winning that match.
So the talks are going to...
Yeah, they have a very... That squad is fantastic, so...
Especially led by the
Nigerian Mercurial striker.
Ooh! So Dynamo Kiev versus Lazio.
Well, the guys from Rome are either here or there.
Okay.
But I see goals in that fixtures.
Okay.
In that fixture, sorry. So both sides to score.
All right. So there are some exciting Carabao fixtures also from Wednesday. Arsenal versus Bolton.
Arsenal to nick that. They'll win the match.
So if you were to go out on a limb and you wanted to advise your investors that you could go, how many goals are you seeing?
Well, I don't know how Arteta will take that match, first of all.
How seriously, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I see Arsenal scoring at least 2 goals in that match.
Okay. Liverpool versus West Ham. That's the Premier League.
Liverpool would win that match because West Ham now we need to start conserving their energy for the Premiership.
Okay. We have a La Liga fixture also on Wednesday. Barcelona are hosting Getafe.
Barcelona will win that match.
Okay, so
but with at least 2 goals.
With at least 2 goals. Okay. So in Flick, Sabubu trust. Okay, Thursday we have Lyon versus Olympiacos still in the Europa League.
Well, 2 goals will come out from that match.
2 goals. Okay. Roma versus Atletico Bilbao.
Wow.
That's
guys
in
on the basket.
in the capital, in the Italian capital.
Well, a Roma win or draw, but more of an under 3.5. That's probably less than 3 goals to come out from the match.
All right. Tottenham versus Qarabag.
Straight win for Tottenham Hotspur.
All right. Ajax versus Besiktas.
Both sides to score.
Both sides to score. All right, wonderful. We have some Thursday games in the La Liga. Espanyol versus Villarreal.
Villarreal were trashed by Barca yesterday night.
Yes.
Espanyol still lost to Real Madrid.
Yes. So why are you making it sound like it's a battle of the losers?
Yes, big time battle of losers.
Okay.
I see a draw in that match. Both sides to score.
Okay. Celta Vigo versus Atletico Madrid.
Oh, Madrid have started well and they are winning away without stress. I see a
Although they drew their last game though.
Yeah, well, they're playing well.
Okay.
Madrid win or draw.
Madrid win or draw. All right. So that's that for the games, the midweek games, some of our select fixtures. Let's quickly go into the weekend games. I'll just start from La Liga and I'll end with the Premier League. La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and then League One. Just a few fixtures. So you stretch your legs and spread your wings because the investors are waiting seriously. I hope you have your jotters out. Okay, nice one. So La Liga, Sociedad versus Valencia on Saturday.
Real Sociedad. Well, win or draw.
Okay, Osasuna versus Barcelona.
Barca are playing away. Barca not playing. In fact, they don't even. All their matches are likely like a home match to them.
Okay, so
Barca to win
at
the
a
match.
canter.
They're going to
All
win the
right.
match.
We have Celta Vigo versus Girona on Sunday.
Girona, both sides to score.
Bilbao versus Sevilla.
Bilbao will beat Sevilla.
Okay, and then the Madrid derby. Oh yes, Atletico versus
Hosting Real Madrid, right?
Real Madrid at the Wanda
Metropolitano.
Metropolitano. Yeah.
I see a draw in that match.
See a draw.
Both sides are going to score.
Okay, wonderful. Well,
but Madrid, I don't know the mentality Madrid to take into that match because if you remember last season, Madrid won the league and Atletico beat them on So let's see if they're coming for sweet revenge.
Or they are going to just try to get something out
because
of the game.
Last weekend Madrid won 4-1, and you saw Rodrigo scored, Mbappe with the penalty, and that new boy, what's his name? The guy from Brazil. Hendrick scored. So, and is it not Carvajal scored the goal in that?
So there's something about referees in that match, but let's not go there. That's not why we are here. So quickly to the Serie A, Udinese versus Inter. It's amazing what Udinese are doing,
Inter
by the way.
Milan lost.
Do you know they're in the top 4?
Wait, you know, Inter Milan, we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, they
lost the
to
Milan derby
the
as
Milan
the
derby.
home team.
Yes.
Because viewers, kindly correct me if I'm wrong. When Inter are playing at home, the stadium is called
Giuseppe Meazza.
Yeah, Giuseppe Meazza. Then
Yeah.
if Milan is playing at home, it's called San Siro.
San Siro, yeah.
So Inter were home in this match.
Yes.
And they had everything going for them, their form and all.
Yeah.
And they just
Out of nowhere.
we normally say it, when it comes to derbies, form is thrown outside.
Yeah, that's one thing, you play for
And the guy
pride.
that scored the winning goal is an academic product of Milan. So you can see the excitement there. Udinese are playing well, but they were trashed last weekend.
Yes, they were.
I see Inter Milan winning that match.
Okay, so Inter will be looking to bounce back
from it, yes.
From a disappointing loss.
Yes.
Juventus have also been held for some time. There are 3 consecutive draws. Do you see them getting over Genoa away?
Juventus is not conceding. That's the good thing about the team, even if they're not winning.
Okay.
I was thinking that they would concede against Napoli. Genoa are either here or there. Juventus might want to. I pick a Juventus win or draw.
There are also fixtures for Sunday: Torino versus Lazio.
Torino win or draw.
Okay. Roma versus Venezia.
Straight win for Roma.
All right, and then there's Napoli versus Monza to wrap up the weekend.
Conte win.
We didn't get to talk about it, but I think he's already laying down the gauntlet
the match
for the
against
league.
Juventus yesterday was fantastic.
So he's already putting everybody on notice. So for the Bundesliga, just 2 fixtures we are highlighting: Leipzig versus Augsburg.
Leipzig to win.
And then
they drew over the weekend. The match that people thought they were going to at least nick 1 or 2 goals against St. Pauli, which was. The pundits were not happy about it.
The punters were not happy about it. I remember an investor telling me that was not something good to look at. But Sabubu is telling you, don't worry, Leipzig are going to bounce back with a bang, so you can, do the needful. And then there's Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. This is a rivalry that has been brewing for some time.
The match is
it's at Bayern home
at Allianz Stadium.
Yeah, the Allianz Arena.
Should I shock you?
Yeah,
Bayern Munich will win that match.
That shouldn't be a shock, actually.
It is a shock. You know why? Because last season they couldn't.
No, of course they couldn't. But the way they have started this season,
the way they started the season on the bank, and secondly, the narrow escape Leverkusen was having all through last season is already catching up with them.
Yeah, but they still had a narrow one last time out.
A lot. Which is not supposed
they do.
They concede a lot.
Do.
For a team
and Bayern are willing to score.
Yeah, and Bayern are willing to destroy, not score. And Bayern, there's one. If you look at the trajectory of the German Bundesliga, when a new team comes and ruffle Bayern, Bayern
they always respond.
They
respond with vengeance.
They come back with anger.
Yes, that's
and
true.
They will do a number on you. So expect a Bayern win.
Okay.
Harry Kane is hungry for goals.
And trophies, most especially. So let's move on to the League One. We have Monaco versus Montpellier on Saturday.
Monaco win.
All right. Toulouse versus Lyon.
Draw.
A draw. Okay. Nantes versus Saint Etienne.
Nantes to score.
Okay. And then Strasbourg versus Marseille.
What was Marseille's result last weekend? Because they played it well. They always score. Even if they don't win,
they always score.
They have a good front line. So
I think they didn't win. They won. They won. It was a 3-2 victory.
They would always score.
Yeah.
So it's a win or draw for them.
Okay, that's wonderful. So let's quickly wrap up the English Premiership. Very exciting fixtures for this weekend. There's Newcastle versus Man City.
That match brings out the very best in Newcastle. I didn't expect what they did at Fulham. Fulham beating them 3, was not 3-1 the match ended.
3-1. It will be my man with an assist.
Very, very close.
Closer than we expect.
Yes. Why am I saying so is that City would want to come back. They've drawn 2 straight matches now.
Yeah.
At home. Newcastle is a team that knows how to play exciting football.
And
So we're going to
Yes.
see a lot of goals in that match.
All right.
Both defense will be tested.
So
Newcastle at St. James Park, they are very slick.
yes.
So
And then it's a very difficult ground, by the
yes.
way. Okay, so we expect an exciting end-to-end game with
There will
goals.
be a lot of goals in that match.
All right. Everton hosts Crystal Palace.
Everton would always score you first and concede. Crystal Palace is a team that is trying to get their feet in the Premiership. I see an Everton win or draw in that match.
All right.
Because right now, David Moyes is always around the stadium. Maybe he's looking for a job there. We don't know.
All right. Arsenal versus Leicester.
Arsenal Leicester. I don't see anything more than Arsenal winning this match.
All right. That one is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, but Leicester's always been a bogey team for Arsenal over the years.
Yeah.
Even if Arsenal wins the matches, are always too close to call. Jimmy Vardy will still want to score one more
To prove
goal
a point.
against. So Arsenal would win the match.
All right. Chelsea versus Brighton. That's another exciting top of the table fixture.
Chelsea might win that match.
Okay. Chelsea at home.
Because now Brighton coach is realizing the kind
What's
of
up
job,
with
the
England?
job he has taken right now.
What's up with England?
Yeah. And Chelsea is a team on the high. If Chelsea starts the way they started against West Ham, they would
They might run away before Leicester know what's up.
Before Brighton knows what's up.
Sorry, Brighton. Sorry. Forest versus Fulham. You think that's an evenly matched one?
Something tells me Forest will win that match.
Okay. Brentford versus West Ham.
Well, both teams will have to sort out themselves. I know both teams will score. Brentford might just sneak it.
All right. Wolves versus Liverpool.
Wolves are a very difficult side to play. I think after that shenanigans, the mess up they had with Chelsea,
They tightened up.
It will not be an easy match for Liverpool, but I see Liverpool win or draw in that match.
All right. They have also been a bogey team for Liverpool
Yes.
over the years. On Sunday, Ipswich host Aston Villa. What's your take?
Ipswich are a very dangerous team.
Yeah, exciting, dangerous,
they just came in from the championship.
They don't get business done.
So they just, you know what? Let's go at them. Anything that happens, fine. They're just happy that
They're not balling.
They're happy that they're in the Premiership.
They're just balling.
That's it.
Okay, so
but I see a Villa win or draw in that match.
All right. And then, of course, to wrap up the weekend is the Red Devils hosting Tottenham Hotspurs.
That is a match we will know how good United have come this season.
Okay.
Especially the delete you've been shouting about. And we'll now
whether they go delete.
Whether they will delete him from the squad. And we'll now know how good Onana is.
Yes.
Because Solanke has got off the mark.
Yes,
and
already.
now that he has scored, he wants to score more
He'll
goals.
be more confident.
And with a song playing beside him and what's the name of that other guy they bought from Juventus?
Kulusevski.
Kulusevski.
Yes.
Have you seen when those guys are running rings around you?
No, of course. They are a very exciting side, especially if you want to match them toe for toe, because they'll always match. One thing about Tottenham, high energy, high line,
and that thing
attack.
Ten Hag really does not have is that tactical ability to control matches.
Yes.
You saw it when Arsenal played Tottenham. Even with their ragged midfield, they still had a way of controlling the game. You see the way City played, even the way Inter were all over them that day. You saw the way City handled the match.
Control the game.
Even Chelsea is even developing that style
of stabbing the opponent of the ball and
I don't know how the match will pan out, but if Spurs scores first, United are in big trouble. If Spurs scores first, United are in big trouble because they will want to come out, and that's when you see those three men running rings around you.
So United are still stuck somewhere in mid-table, and they should be climbing up. And if they are not able to pick a positive result from that match,
to be honest with you, from what I see, is a Man U win or draw, but both sides are likely going to score.
Okay,
good.
All right. So that's all for the weekend. But just something to point out, two of the most exciting teams and two of the teams that have been picked to battle out for the Premiership title, Arsenal and Manchester City. or should I say, in no particular order. Let me put it that way. Now, Arsenal lost Odegaard to an injury, and Manchester City has now lost Rodri.
For the season.
You can say those are two of the most important players in both teams.
And ironically,
And of course,
ironically,
De Bruyne is also on the sidelines right now.
Odegaard will be back in the next 2-3 weeks.
Oh,
yes.
So, although has it been concluded that Rodri is out for the season? It's still undecided for now.
I think they're suspecting an ACL.
A knee ligament. Okay.
An
So
ACL, you know what it means.
yeah, that's minimum of 6 months. Anyways, do you think this injury situation has an impact on the title race?
Nothing.
The
two teams are playing fantastic.
Even without those players.
They have deep squad. Keep forgetting that.
Because,
see, watch both teams. Their tactical formations will change systematically as they play.
I want to go out on a limb and say that Arsenal were not playing like Arsenal because Odegaard was not on board.
Arsenal were playing well until the red card, so let's not talk about that.
All right, we are going to go now. Allow you to enjoy the weekends. Take your investment advice, do your own research, and use your head when you are doing your investment. My name is Renz, and I've had an exciting time with Sabubu Elkun, the octopus of Nigeria. And this is the Fantastics podcast. Sabubu, it's always a pleasure to be in the studio with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And thanks for the comments. Thanks for the feedback. The journey just started. We still have a very long way to go as the Premiership is a marathon. We hope to be here to give you all the details you need and a little bit of investment analysis here. And we still ask, kindly subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, share it with friends and family, with contact with everybody. Let's make this one of the best things that will happen to Nigerian sports entertainment,
yes.
Football podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you. God bless.